Hey everybody, still here. Daily Market Pulse. This is Monday, June 23rd, 2014. Stocks flat. Index is flat. Volume down on all the major exchanges, so pretty quiet. More like profit taking time. There's the Dow Jones, flat as mentioned. It was down actually for part of the day, came back up, but essentially off its lows, but doesn't really matter. Flat, down slightly for the day. No big deal. We're still looking to break the recent highs. I still think it can do that despite this little challenge, this channel that it's in. Still thinking things are going higher. If it goes lower, you're looking at the 20-day moving average. You're looking at maybe the last pivot area in around 16,750 or 16,770. There is the flat on the S&P as well. Looks like there's still room. We're looking ultimately for 2,000. The channel right now gives us 1980, but we'll see over time what that provides us. The support will be the 8 moving average on the way down. NASDAQ, of course, looks nothing like this, but similar nonetheless in some respects. Big V-shaped, as you can see, right up to the pivot area. We had a little bit of a kind of hanging man like on Friday today, a doji formation. You have doji at the highs, usually a bad sign, so you got to be careful. Any kind of a pullback, there's immediate support as deep as the 20-day moving average and the window below at 4,300. So those are possibilities, especially with the VIX as low as it is, and I'll show you that here momentarily. When the VIX that low, typically there's a pop in the VIX. That means that there might be a slight drop at least in the markets. So we're going to looking to see if that's going to be the case or not. See sideways for the TSX for the last 3 days consecutively. Looking for a little bit of a drop since it's never done so. And it could drop as low as 14.9 or 14.850 for that matter even. I don't think we've looked at the DAX in a while, and so the DAX has been kind of wavering back and forth, not quite getting beyond and past 10,035. Support down to 10,000, even as low as 9,900. We're still looking for something higher. You see the Bollinger Bands are very tight, so we're looking for a push through 10,000 ultimately. To higher levels, US dollar, Canadian dollar, it had fallen through support last week and continues to do so. The support was essentially 107 of the goal line. It's almost there now, so look for a bounce in that vicinity. It's very oversold at this point. It's been oversold for quite some time. The euro has been bouncing, showing green here today. We're looking for a movement off these 20 and 8 moving averages here into the 200 and possibly the 50 at near 137. Treasuries are getting squeezed as well between a declining or slightly declining 20 and a rising 50, including the lower trend line down below. The 200 below is still rising as well. So this is getting in a very tight range. It's been there for the last 3 weeks. Beginning of June. Beginning of June essentially is when this started. So resistance at 136 into 137, support into 134. Those are your ranges. Anything above that is long. Anything below 134 is going to be short. Hard to say what it's going to do, but if the markets remain bullish, you'd imagine treasuries are going to drop. There's a support level on the yen, similar to what we just saw earlier on the euro. And so we're looking for moves into 99, possibly higher ultimately. Remember, gold had its huge move last week, gone sideways since, holding near a pivot area at 1320. We're still looking at 1335 or higher. Support below might be 1300, but right now everything still looks pretty good and pretty strong on the upside. Silver, of course, had a similar large and strong move as well. It's well above. See, the 8 moving average in this case is already beyond, is already crossed over the 50. The 20 starting to rise as well. If you go back to gold very quickly, you're going to see the differences between the two. The 8 is just now reaching the 50, but it's also reaching the 200. So there's strengths and strengths and weaknesses on both sides. The 200 is now just being crossed by price right now versus on gold it was way below. So there's variations in terms of the trend, but silver is certainly pushing pretty hard. Now at 21, looking for 22 on the upside. Crude, interestingly, did not quite come down to our 104.50 to 105 support area, or at least measured move area. It bounced a couple days. It gapped higher this morning into the doji high wave highs and then faded with a dark cloud cover. So now this is critical. I still think there's a possibility this comes back to 105 or lower to retest the former resistance and polarity at 104.50. We'll see. If it can hold right here, however, right in this area of 106, then I say it goes back up and through in 108 at that point. But if it doesn't, we're looking at 105 or to 104.50 on the downside. Let's go take a look at the small caps, just kind of grinding higher with room still to 121 based on a measured move. And as I stated before, the VIX had a couple of green days, Thursday, Friday, and then today gapped higher into the 8 moving average where the resistance is. So it's trying to go, and it did, in which case now I don't think there's much room for it to go anywhere now, which means the market's probably bump higher, and we'll see how that goes.